Hi, my name is Greg Goodwin. I'm the director of the Precision Conservation Management Program here at Illinois Corn, and with me I've got Megan Dwyer, the Nutrient Loss Reduction Manager at Illinois Corn. And today we're going to talk about carbon markets. And so, Megan, please tell me if I'm a farmer and interested in carbon markets, how do I get involved, and what can I expect?
Yeah, that's a great question, Greg, and a question we know a lot of our farmers have. There's so much buzz and talk about what carbon markets are and what they're not and what they might mean for your farm. So I think the first thing to understand is that this is all very new territory. We're still looking and hoping to provide and see some structure and guidance moving forward on where these markets might go and develop. I think from an Illinois corn standpoint, we hope that this stays, kind of seeing that incentive from the private market sector to really provide that incentive to a farmer. So starting with that, I would say it all comes down to reading those contracts. I mean, feeling really confident and having all of that in front of you before you get started, maybe consulting with a good attorney to read over some of that verbiage, but thinking through the details on what that means. And one thing that seems to come up a lot is this idea of additionality. And I don't know, Greg, do you have a thought on, or can you explain additionality?
Yeah, so additionality is the idea that once you've enrolled an acre in a program, you can no longer enroll that acre as a new acre into a different program. So I think that's something we understand. We can't have the concept of double dipping, but we also want to be able to understand how we can see how the programs are affecting farmers long term for acreage that they've had enrolled, or the early adopters. It's really another issue with early adopters. If you've been doing this practice for a number of years, it doesn't necessarily make sense why you shouldn't be able to enroll your acreage into a program since you've been a good actor. You were an early adopter for something like cover crops practice we know to sequester carbon and can for a long time. So yeah, that's something we're thinking about.
And that's probably a reason that we would suggest that maybe you don't enroll your entire farm or every acre in some of these programs. That start small to kind of get your feet wet on what's going to be expected and how that looks. A lot of it from that additionality piece, because once you implement that new practice today, the way a lot of these contracts are worded, then that acre could not be eligible for future programs. Something else comes down to what are you comfortable doing, and what are your current systems in place for your management style and management practices, and what changes would you need to make, and what does that mean for your farm, and looking at not only from a carbon market standpoint but also the environmental and economic impacts, which is something with Illinois Corn and Greg's the Precision Conservation Management Program that we look at very heavily on what is the economics behind these practices, and how are they driving decisions, and how can we use that information to be beneficial.
So yeah, thank you very much, Megan, for the explanation and the info, and thank you all for watching.